My name is Kent Barwick, President of the Municipal Art Society. We've been advocating for over 10 years for a new Pennsylvania station. We've recently joined forces with a number of other civic groups to try to bring the public's attention to the opportunity here and, frankly, to the problems, the worries we have. The original Pennsylvania station was completed in 1910 and designed by architects McKim, Mead, and White, and connected New York City to the continental United States by rail for the first time. It was a soaring, classically inspired monument, a place where novelist Thomas Wolfe once said you could hear the murmur of time. Sadly, during the 1960s, the Pennsylvania station was demolished to make way for Madison Square Garden, a far from distinguished building that now houses the home games of the New York Knicks and the New York Rangers. The New York Times described the demolition of the original station as a monumental act of vandalism. Stuck beneath Madison Square Garden was a utilitarian, cramped, and quite dismal space that came to be known as the new Penn Station. Where once travelers entered the city like a god, now one scuttled in like a rat. The conditions in Penn Station have not improved as the number of rail passengers has increased. Today, Penn Station is the busiest transportation hub in the nation, with over 500,000 visitors daily, more than New York's 3 airports combined. New York's great senior senator, Daniel Patrick Moynihan, had fond memories of the original Pennsylvania station, having once been a shoeshine boy there. And he had a vision. His vision was to convert another McKim, Mead, and White building, the landmark Farley Post Office, across the street from Penn Station and over the same tracks, into a new train hall, reminiscent of the grandeur he remembered, with sunlight streaming down to the tracks and monumental architecture that would expand the station's capacity and help stimulate the development of the far west side of Manhattan. Under his plan, the magnificent lobby of the Farley building would continue to be used by the post office, but behind it would be a grand new train hall, be known as Moynihan Station. But since the senator's death, the project sponsors have come up with a very imaginative new idea that would demolish the existing Madison Square Garden and erect a new, improved arena in the western end of the Farley building. This would free up the entire block of the current Madison Square Garden site between 7th and 8th Avenue for redevelopment, and in the process create an opportunity to redevelop the current Penn Station into a new contemporary icon with great light and circulation and appropriate retail. This is a solution that could match the beauty of the historic Farley building on the west side of 8th Avenue with a wonderful new contemporary train hall on the east side. But we're frankly concerned that the public benefit, that is a grand and less crowded train hall, may be overwhelmed by what is increasingly a private real estate deal. The developers plan to build 1.1 million square feet of retail space. That's a lot of retail space. In fact, it's over 9 times the amount of retail in the refurbished Grand Central Terminal. And we're concerned that the train station may get lost in what turns out to be a mall. Across the street in the historic Farley building, we're concerned that the post office, which serves 10,000 people a day, will be pushed out to make way for ticket windows, and that Moynihan's vision of a grand train hall will be replaced with a waiting room for Madison Square Garden. The Farley Post Office is intimately tied with the life and the culture of New York. Designed as the premier post office in the city, it's where many New Yorkers file their taxes up until midnight on tax day. It's also where all of New York's Dear Santa letters are delivered, thousands every day leading up to Christmas. For the project to succeed, the legitimate interests of the private developers and Madison Square Garden have to be balanced with the important public goal of creating 2 grand new stations in which the federal government has already invested close to $1 billion of public money. For this project to work out in everybody's interest, Governor Spitzer and the state government will have to steer it with a strong and resolute hand. It would be easy for such a complex project to fall apart and never happen, but it would be a crying shame for our city if this great opportunity is lost.